And so one of the strongest parts I loved about his book was there's a portion he came up with called the 6 burnout factors. And he dials them down into 6 categories. So in terms of burnout factors, he says you're going to either burn out due to workload, control, insufficient rewards. I have a lot to speak about that. Your community, fairness, and values. And so if you say, hey, I'm burned out, well, he would then say, okay, you're burned out, but is it in all these areas or is it one of these areas that have burned you out? And I think he's spot on, because when I've seen people, I'm burned out because my workload's too heavy, or I don't have enough control in a certain area and it's causing me way more anxiety than I should have, or insufficient reward. You're working your tail off, but you really should be paid a whole lot more. That causes burnout as well too. What do you think about those 6?
Yeah, I mean, these are great. If you're looking to work with your leaders and you're growing them, either need a coach like you provide, or you're trying to put together a leadership team and you're trying to struggle with a particular leader, this is a good pulse check, I think, to keep in mind, both for yourself and for the people on your team, right, on your executive team. And these are always going to be dialing up and down based on what's happening, but it's about getting people, if you get people, for example, the right amount of work and the right amount of resource, that's going to bring their stress down. If you give people sort of control over their sphere of influence, then that's going to it's going to bring the stress level down. If you incentivize people correctly, right? We just did entree leadership and incentives and how to pay people, right? You got to pay people right, so they're being rewarded, and help them find community. I mean, all these things just line up to how you would want to both set up an executive team properly for success, but also give you sort of dials to help monitor that success, right? Which is kind of cool, right? So I think it's a great way to set up, an entire executive team and by extension a company for success in terms of staying away from burnout and sort of maintaining productivity at the highest level without going over the top.
And as we lead our organizations, not only do we have to know what can burn our employees and ourselves out, but how do you recover from that as well too?
Right.
So, I wish I would have stumbled upon his book last year when I was, I was facing burnout in a lot of areas in my life as well too. And then I've had to, look at my schedule. What does my schedule look like every single week? And I've had to put in breaks in my schedule, to recover, but also really good think time. You've got to have all those areas. So not only are we stressing ourselves, which produce growth, but also resting so we can get stronger again at the same time.